The Ireland Institute of Pittsburgh, Jim Lamb here, and I'm delighted to have Colin Shields all the way originally from somewhere in County Down. He's going to talk to us a little bit about specifically where he's from. And so, Colin, before we do anything else, I just want to say you're very welcome. It's so good to see you after, it must be at least 15 years since we actually spoke, like had a conversation.
I think that's about right. Yeah,
it's 15 years. It's great to see you. Now, you came out to Pittsburgh on a Walsh visa program back in 2002?
Correct. September 2002. September 21st, I believe, 2002.
September of 2002. And you're from County Down, but remind me, what town?
So I'm from a little village called Burn, just outside Warren Point.
Yeah.
Right in the south, right in the southern tip of Down.
Right. So very close to Newry.
Yes, very
Newry
close.
Would be sort of the city nearest you, I guess.
It would be.
Yeah. Right. Okay. What brought you to Pittsburgh? What was the decision that you made to come?
So it was a bit of a challenging time for me personally and for the country at the time. I just finished school. I didn't really properly complete my A-levels. What was going on in my life then was a little bit toxic. So the whole situation that I was in at the time, I wasn't very happy, to be honest. And my mum worked in the job centre, and she told me about this opportunity for people who'd been unemployed for 3 months or greater to travel and go across and see a bit of the world. So I was doing an apprenticeship at the time, which I didn't like. So I left that apprenticeship to get on the programme. So I'd applied for it. Much to my surprise, I was accepted onto it, and then I was told I was going to Pittsburgh. And at that time, I didn't even know where Pittsburgh was. My knowledge of US geography was pretty rudimentary, but I was very excited whenever I heard it. Did a bit of looking into it, and I couldn't wait to go. And so, I mean, I'm very glad I got sent to Pittsburgh now. I do think it was the pick of the places on the program.
Tell me more about that. What was it about Pittsburgh that made you say, "Wow"? Because you didn't know about it at all, and then you're flung into it, and for some reason, talk about that.
I'll tell you what I remember, Jim. I remember when we first flew over there. We connected in Boston. We dropped people off in Boston, and we connected. And I remember that we were lifted by a little minibus from the airport, and we were all tired. It had been a long, long trip. And we were driving, and the minibus, I don't know if this was intentional, but it worked out good. The minibus driver took us through the tunnel into Pittsburgh. So we're all sitting there, and then suddenly, wow, it opens up into a full cityscape, you know, with the tall buildings and everything, the bridges, and it really took your breath away. That's when we realized that we'd landed properly and that we were in the USA. It was a spectacular sight. Pittsburgh's a beautiful city anyway at the best of times, and just getting that shock from the tunnel, it's something that stuck with me for 18 years now. And I can remember like I'm there right now, just seeing us coming out of the tunnel, the light, the city, and yeah, I was very, very excited. That's the first day of the rest of my life, really, from what I had previously.
So the program in Pittsburgh, you know, there was a work placement, there was some professional development, personal development sort of work that was done. Getting around the place, just kind of learning. What can you say about that? What was your experience like as far as work and as far as meeting new people?
So I was 19 years old at the time. I was always pretty outgoing, and that, you know, I was happy to put myself out there and put myself in situations where I could meet people. We had a really good group on the program. Whatever your selection process was, worked quite well, because the people that we went with were really, really decent, sound people, and the people in the Ireland Institute were very, very helpful, and they really helped us to bed in and get our feet under us before they let us go into the wide world. But when we got there, I think that the fact that we had a few weeks in, it was a place in Greentree. I can't remember, Hawthorne Suites, that's what you called it. I haven't thought about that place in years, but Hawthorne Suites in Greentree. So we had a few weeks there before we started our job, and that really helped us, because it really it was a bit of a transition. You know, we were there in that group of people that went over, and we had a chance then to sort of explore whilst not going too far from our core group. So it was a gentle introduction into life in the US, and yeah, it was very exciting.
Very good. And you spent the guts of 3 years, right? Around 3 years or so
Pretty much, yeah, the whole time.
yeah. And when it was over, back home, and that's 2005. And
Correct.
so for 15 years, you've been kind of making your own way. And I'm curious to know how the Pittsburgh experience impacted those 15 years up to and including what you're doing now professionally and otherwise.
It changed me completely, Jim, to be honest with you. My mum used to say that I went away a boy and I came back a man. So I went at the age of 19, I came back at 22, but I completely changed. It gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me a lot of experience, life experience. I came back a completely different person, to be honest with you. Whenever I went, as I said, it was in a little bit of a low place personally from the background that I'd come from. I just dropped 2 of my A levels and just about finished one. I wasn't interested in any more school. I wasn't interested in doing anything really. But whenever I come back, I was motivated and I was confident and I was full of vim. And I applied to become a mature student in the University of Liverpool. So I went to university then as a mature student, and I ended up getting a master's degree in civil and maritime engineering.
Wow.
So I thought I was going to be a civil engineer. I specialized in boats.
Can I hear that again? A master's degree in
civil and
maritime engineering.
Correct. I actually did really well in the program too. As I said, if I had gone to university when I was 19, I wasn't even going to finish. I know I wasn't. I wasn't interested. I wasn't motivated. Whenever I went as a mature student, I was very motivated, and I won an award of the Dock and Harbour Engineer of the Year 2011 in Liverpool. So I won awards everywhere. I did very well. I thought I was going to go into engineering, but at that time the recession had hit 2009. I graduated 2011. So I'd seen an advert in the paper for work as an air traffic controller, and again, whenever I was younger, before I'd gone to Pittsburgh, I probably would have looked at it and thought, well, that sounds really good, but I would have dismissed it. But I came back with such a feeling. I thought, why not? There's no reason why not. You know, these opportunities are here. It's even like the Walsh Visa Program advert in the job centre. You know, you look at it, and a lot of people would look at it and think, God, that looks really good, and then dismiss it. You know, they would assume that they wouldn't get it, or they'd assume that they wouldn't be good enough, or they'd assume that something would stand in their way. And after the experience of going on the program, going to Pittsburgh, I come back and nothing stood in my way. I saw that anything I wanted to do, as long as I was willing to work hard for it, I could do, and I ultimately have. So I saw that application process for air traffic controller. I applied. The whole application process encounters about 50 stages of testing. About 50 different exams over 3 stages of testing, which took about 2 years. And I passed everything first time every time and got into NATS as an air traffic controller. So whenever I was graduating as a maritime engineer, I had a choice. Do I want to go and survey ships for Lloyd's Register, a shipping company in London, or go and talk to planes for National Air Traffic Services? And ultimately I chose air traffic because it seemed like a more stable industry at the time. It seemed like something that gave me better promotion opportunities, less travel, because at the time I had a young family. With a wife that I'd met when I moved to Liverpool and started a family with, and I went this route, and I've done quite well this route, and I do put a lot of the professional development that I have down to the time I spent in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be the same person, and I wouldn't be as successful as I have been.
Well, that's great to hear. And speaking of family, this is news to me. I wasn't aware. You're married how long now?
Been married for 2007, 12 years.
12 years, and you have 4 children.
4 children, yep.
Ages?
Teenage, 9, 2 and 1.
Oh, very good, very good.
Well, I'm a deputy watch manager in the airport, in the air traffic control, and I'm the unit safety manager here as well. So I manage the safety for the unit, which is our #1 product that we provide, is safety, because it has to be whenever you're dealing with planes full of people.
And are you living now in Belfast?
From Belfast, and I live next to the airport. I live in a place called Crumlin now, Crumlin,
Right.
County Antrim.
Heard of it, yeah.
So I like to be close to work. I mean, I was commuting for a while from from Bern, but that was about 55 miles each way a day. And I didn't fancy doing that for the rest of my life. So after putting on about 2 stone, about 25, 30 pounds of, from night shifts and loads of time in the car, I decided, you know what, let's move up to Crumlin.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Well, Colin Shields, it's been really great catching up with you. Any final message or words of wisdom regarding Pittsburgh or regarding the folks that you know here or the young people that are coming up behind you?
And I credit the program with a lot of that development, personal and professional. It's the best thing that I've ever done in my life. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Right. Colin Shields, all the way from the Aldergrove Airport in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Colin, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure, Jim.
Thanks.
I was happy to give anything back that I can.
Sure thing. We'll talk to you very soon, okay?
Cheers. Take it easy.
Cheers. Take it easy. Bye now.
All right, good luck.